So it feels weird starting the postgame show with a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. This feels like a preseason game as we're watching Nick Mullins operate the offense. But Vikings got their ass kicked. But there really is no other way to slice it. 40-3. And the Vikings could not stop the Dallas offense. They could not stop Tony Pollard. They could not protect Kirk Cousins. Basically, every single key to victory that we outlined on Friday, they went against it. There was an emotional hangover, and it was, frankly, it was pathetic. I mean, that the entire game, the entire effort, you're at home. It is what it is, but it's one loss it's one in the loss column. I mean, that's it. Where that's one of the benefits. Where whether it's a complete and utter ass kicking, which this game was, or if you lose a close game by a point. It doesn't matter. Still counts the same in the loss column. And getting your ass kicked does have the benefit of, hey, humbling you, refocusing. Maybe the Vikings were feeling their oats after the whole come from behind win against the Bills. They're like, okay, we can come back against anyone. Doesn't matter if we don't start off fast. Now, incorrect. You can't do that against good teams, man. Derek Baker, $5 in super chat. Good news. Greg Joseph didn't miss a PAT today. That's fair. But I think overall, this was just one of those games where there's not really anything that you can take away from it. I mean, you just bury this football and you just move on. Like it certainly is one of those spots. But we do have a couple takeaways. So first up, this is the wake-up call. You know, like we said, the difference between just getting losing a close game and getting your ass kicked is that it does recenter you. It's like, hey, we can't do this. Like, we can't just show up and win, or show up and win a close game or come from behind. We can't do that. So we got to bring it every single damn game. And O'Connell, he didn't have this team ready. I mean, that's the head coach's job. You have to, coming off of a big win like the Vikings did, and we've seen examples of this before. Hell, look at the Minneapolis Miracle and then going to Philly and laying an egg in the NFC title game, where it's up to the head coach to understand his locker room and get them reframed. Maybe O'Connell should have been a hard ass. Like Kevin O'Connell does seem like a player's coach, but I mean, sometimes he's got to lay down the law. I mean, maybe the Vikings should have had a more physical practice as opposed to a walkthrough on Wednesday, just sort of shake out those cobwebs. I understand load management and all that stuff, but I mean, this team, they look morose. They sleptwalked through most of this game. They didn't show up after halftime. They didn't. A handful of players fought, but most of the team did not, and it was just horrid, man. Takeaway number three, pathetic offensive line play. Kirk Cousins was sacked 7 times, which was a career high. He got pressure on 63% of his dropbacks, which is completely unacceptable. It's actually 2 times the rate that's usually average around this league, man. And it's more than just Darrisaw, because Brian O'Neill was giving up pressures, Ezra was giving it up, Ingram was giving it up. It was just really bad all the way around. And also, 6 out of the 7 sacks were against 4-man pressure. So it wasn't even anything fancy or exotic blitzes or anything like that. It was just lining up and, hey, our 4 guys are going to kick your 5 guys' ass. And that's exactly what Dallas did all damn day. Takeaway number 4, Dontel still needs to go. Where they can't stop the run, they can't do anything, and then no one's in the box. The corners are playing 9 yards off. They're sitting in that soft zone, and Dak was carving them up. And you cannot have the opposing quarterback go 22 of 25 for 276, 2 touchdowns, 0. Goose egg, D'Angelo Russell sacks, also scrambling for a couple of first downs. And didn't you learn? Haven't you learned from Justin Fields to Josh Allen that, oh yeah, quarterbacks are allowed to run in today's NFL, Ed? I haven't learned that yet. Number 5, the defense cannot rely on sacks and turnovers because they're high variance. They're a little bit fluky. There's certainly some puck luck in there, and the Vikings were just absolutely atrocious. 12 of 17 on third down, and it was what was it, 8 of 11, something like that. 8 of 10 earlier in the game. So Dallas just did whatever they want. They got 458 yards of offense, averaged 6.5 yards per play. It's just dominated time possession almost 2-1. Yeah. Just overall, it's just one of those games where you just completely burn the game tape. It's rough. Ryan Wright is the team MVP, man. Ryan Wright does deserve some All-Pro love. I don't know if he'll get it. Tristan D, $2 in Super Chat. Ed needs to go. Yes. So Ryan Wright. It's sad that we have to do this. Ryan Wright, 7 punts for 338. Long of 58. 4 inside the 20. 0 touchbacks. Yeah, he was the MVP today. He was certainly the man of the match. And then, can't lay an egg against good teams. So, I mean, Dallas is a good football team. Are they as good as this game showed? Well, they were today. And you can just not have a game where you can show up and think that you can sleepwalk through the game and just like, we'll win by 1 score. We've done that over and over and over again. No, you cannot do that. So, I mean, this goes back to the whole wake-up call thing, and I think that's good because you got New England in 4 days, Thursday Night Football. Kirk Cousins in primetime. Derek Baker, $5 in Super Chat. Today was a reminder to all newbie fans, media fans, focus on star plays and highlight real plays, but the game was won and lost in the trenches. Yes, agreed. So we got to get ready for New England because guess what? The Vikings have practice tomorrow. I mean, the Vikings have their first of 3 practices tomorrow. It's probably going to be a walkthrough, but I don't know. You get... Somehow, some way, you have to put this game in your rear view, and you have to get back to where you once belonged. The Vikings have to get back in the win column. And New England, I mean, it's set up pretty well because New England won in walk-off fashion, dramatic fashion, with a punt return, winning 10-3 over the Jets. So they're coming off an emotional high. The Vikings just got their ass kicked, and generally in the NFL, that sets up for a reversal, where the team that got their ass kicked shows up. The team that won emotionally, maybe they don't show up, but of course it's Belichick. So, I mean, his team is going to show up. They're going to be good to go. And I don't know. Like this team, they got to put this game behind them. They got to put Buffalo behind them as well. And they got to get ready for the Patriots on Thursday. They do. This team needs to get mad. They need to get pissed off. They need to put that chip back on their shoulder. Maybe they were reading some of their own press and hype. Maybe they're doing this, that, the other thing. And no, they got to refocus. Like, hey, no one respects us. You got a very good football team that's very well coached coming in, and you got to bring it. You got to bring it. Primetime game. The entire nation's going to be watching you. Look what happened when you had national coverage on Sunday afternoon. You got your ass kicked. You got embarrassed at home. 37 points, the worst loss in Vikings franchise history at home. It's rough, man. Lastly, number 10. All that being said, 8-2 is still damn good. 8-2 is still the second best record in the National Football League. Vikings are still in the driver's seat for the 2 seed as well as in the NFC North division. But you got to get up. It doesn't matter how many shots you take. It's how many times you get up off the canvas after getting your ass kicked. And the Vikings, there's no way around it. I mean, the Vikings got handled in all phases on Sunday, but there's no time for crying in the breast milk. You got New England coming up on Thursday night, and they're a good team. The Jets are a good defensive team. The Lions, we saw how the Vikings operated at Detroit last year. Plus, they're playing some really good football. 3 straight wins for them. They just beat the Giants. Then you got the Colts. I mean, the Colts are playing some resurgent football. Then you got the G-Men, one of the better stories this year. Then you got the stupid Packers and the Bears. Even though they're out of contention, I mean, they certainly would like the feather in the cap of potentially spoiling some Vikings playoff seeding. So it's going to be tough the rest of the way. But there's no time. There's no time to wallow and feel sorry for yourself. And Kevin O'Connell has to get this team and its frame of mind in the right place because the rest of the season's still waiting, man. All right, so overall, tough game, but sun comes up tomorrow. The Vikings are still 8-2, and we're on to New England. But that's it. That is the post-game show. Stay tuned for winners and losers on the channel.